Remember those crazy Palantir believers? Turns out they weren't so crazy after all. Palantir just dropped their Q3 earnings, and it's not just good, it's mind-blowing. We're talking a 30% revenue spike, $104 million deals, and free cash flow hitting the billion-dollar mark. Here's the thing. While Europe's sleeping, Palantir's leading an AI revolution that's splitting the world into tech giants and tech has-beens. And guess who's on top? The good old USA. You know what's mind-blowing? Almost every major player in AI is American. It's not just a trend, it's a full-blown revolution, and the US is leading the charge. We're talking about a tech landscape that's so dominated by American firms, it's almost unfair. But here's where it gets really interesting. While the US is soaring, other countries are struggling to keep up. Europe, in particular, is falling behind. I'm not just saying this. Palantir CEO Alex Karp is shouting it from the rooftops. Karp's not pulling any punches. He's talking about AI haves and have-nots, and guess which side the US is on? That's right, we're the haves, and we're not slowing down. Karp's saying that US institutions are responding to AI's potential at breakneck speed, while Europe's just standing on the sidelines. So why are US companies crushing it? It's all about agility, innovation, and a willingness to take risks. We've got CEOs who aren't afraid to transform their industries overnight. Our work environments are flexible, adaptable, and always pushing the envelope. It's a culture that's unmatched anywhere else in the world. Now, you might be wondering, where does Palantir fit into all this? Well, they're not just part of the revolution. They're driving it. Palantir's not playing around with theoretical AI. They're integrating it with real-world data and decision-making structures. It's AI with a purpose, and it's changing the game. Palantir's success isn't just about fancy algorithms. It's about cold, hard results. We're talking about a 54% growth in U.S. commercial revenue. That's not just impressive. It's jaw-dropping. It's proof that Palantir's approach to AI isn't just theoretical. It's practical, profitable, and powerful. Karp's warning is clear. This is a pivotal moment in economic history. The U.S. is seizing the opportunity, while other countries risk being left in the dust. And Palantir? They're right at the forefront, powering this American AI dominance. But here's the thing. It's not just about fancy tech. It's about results. And that's where things get really interesting. Palantir just dropped a financial bombshell, and it's got everyone from Silicon Valley to Wall Street scrambling for answers. Their Q3 report isn't just good. It's rewriting the playbook on what's possible in the world of data analytics. Remember when Palantir was the tech world's problem child? For years, they struggled to turn a profit. Critics said they were burning through cash faster than a Silicon Valley startup at a kombucha bar. They couldn't scale, they said. They'd never be profitable, they said. Well, those critics are eating their words now. Let's talk about that 30% year-over-year revenue growth. That's not just a number, it's a statement. Palantir's not just growing, they're accelerating. So what's driving this insane momentum? It's not just one thing. It's a perfect storm. Their AI platform is hitting its stride right when companies are desperate for real AI solutions. Not just buzzwords. They're expanding their customer base like crazy. We're talking a 39% increase year over year. And they're not just adding small fries. They've closed 104 deals over $1 million. That's big fish, folks. But here's where it gets really interesting. Palantir isn't just growing. They're profitable. And I'm not talking about some accounting trickery. We're looking at $144 million in net income for Q3. That's the largest profit in their 20-year history. It's like they finally cracked the code, and now the money's pouring in. Now you might be thinking, sure, but is this sustainable, or is it just a one-time thing? Well, Palantir's not acting like this is a fluke. They've raised their full-year guidance for both revenue and adjusted free cash flow. That's not something you do unless you're really confident about your future. And you know what? The analysts who used to be skeptical, they're suddenly changing their tune. It's like watching a bunch of bears turn into bulls overnight. They're scrambling to upgrade their forecasts, trying to catch up with what Palantir's actually achieving. But here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk cash. $4.6 billion. That's not Palantir's valuation. That's how much cash they're sitting on right now. They added $600 million to that pile in just one quarter. How are they doing it? And more importantly, what are they planning to do with all that firepower? In the tech world, cash is king. It's not just about having cool tech or big ideas. It's about having the financial muscle to turn those ideas into reality. And Palantir, they're flexing hard right now. Let's rewind for a second. Not too long ago, Palantir was burning through cash like it was going out of style. Critics were having a field day, saying they'd never figure out how to actually make money. Well, those critics are pretty quiet now. Palantir's not just making money, they're making it hand over fist. We're talking about $420 million in cash from operations in Q3 alone. That's a 58% margin, folks. To put that in perspective, most tech companies would kill for those kinds of numbers. But how did they pull off this financial 180? It's not magic. It's a combination of smart growth and ruthless efficiency. They're not just adding customers, they're adding the right customers, big contracts, long-term commitments, and they're delivering results, which means those customers stick around and spend more. But here's what's really interesting. Palantir's not just sitting on this cash. They're still making more. Their adjusted income from operations hit $276 million in Q3 with a 38% margin. That's the kind of profitability that makes Wall Street sit up and take notice. So, what does all this mean for Palantir's future? In short, they're in the driver's seat. They've got the cash to weather any storms, the momentum to keep growing, and the flexibility to seize opportunities as they come. They could become a major player in shaping the future of AI and data analytics, not just in the US, but globally. But here's the million-dollar question, or should I say the billion-dollar question. What's driving all this success? Sure, they've got the cash, they've got the growth, but there's got to be something else, something that's setting Palantir apart in a world where everyone's talking about AI, but few are actually making it work. Remember when AI was just a buzzword? Well, Palantir's turned it into a money-making machine. But here's the thing. They're not doing it the way you might think. While other companies are busy chasing the next shiny AI model, Palantir's got a different game plan. One that's got their competitors scrambling to catch up. Let's be real for a second. Most companies are struggling with AI. They've got these fancy models, but they can't figure out how to make them work in the real world. It's like having a Ferrari but not knowing how to drive stick. Palantir? They're not just driving, they're racing past everyone else. Here's where Palantir's different. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're taking AI and integrating it with existing data infrastructures. It's like they found a way to supercharge what companies already have, and that's why they're winning. You know what Alex Karp, Palantir's CEO, said? The winners in AI will be powered by Palantir, and the losers will read analysts. That's not just trash talk. That's confidence backed by results. So what's this secret sauce? It's called AIP, Artificial Intelligence Platform. But it's not just about creating AI models, it's about managing them. Karp says that's where the real value is. And you know what? He might be onto something. We're seeing Palantir's AI in action everywhere. In defense, they're enhancing decision-making in complex environments. In healthcare, they're revolutionizing patient care. In logistics, they're optimizing supply chains like never before. This isn't just theoretical AI, it's AI that's making a real difference. But here's what's really crazy. Palantir's been playing the long game. While everyone else is scrambling to catch up, Palantir's been investing in their tech infrastructure for years. It's like they saw this AI revolution coming and got ready for it while everyone else was asleep at the wheel. So what's next for Palantir? Karp's not being shy about it. He believes Palantir is going to lead the AI revolution, especially in the US market. And given their track record, I wouldn't bet against them. You want to know how Palantir achieved that insane 30% revenue growth? This is it. They're not just talking about AI. They're making it work. They're solving real problems for real companies. And those companies? They're coming back for more. So, what does all this mean for the future? Well, if Palantir's right, we're looking at a world where AI isn't just a nice to have. It's going to be the difference between companies that thrive and companies that die. And Palantir? They're positioning themselves to be the ones holding the keys to the kingdom. Let's face it, Palantir's not just riding the AI wave, they're making the waves. This isn't some Silicon Valley pipe dream. It's cold hard cash and real-world impact. You've seen the numbers. You've heard Karp's warnings about AI haves and have-nots. Now, here's the kicker. Palantir's just getting started. Think about it. They've cracked the code on making AI work for big business and government. They're sitting on a mountain of cash, and they're growing faster than anyone thought possible. The question isn't if Palantir will succeed, it's how big they'll get and who they'll leave in the dust. So here's my advice. Keep your eyes glued to Palantir. They're not just changing the game, they're rewriting the rules of what's possible in the AI era. And trust me, you don't want to be on the wrong side of this revolution.